Hello, Lindsay. We're going to take a look at your 5 characteristics of light posting and give you a little bit of recorded feedback here. So first of all, good job with including your name on the posting. That's always good. Also, excellent in identifying the positions. It tells me that you're paying attention to not only the instructions, but to what you're doing. To be able to identify where the light is coming from position-wise, that's an important aspect. So let's take a look at what we have here. Position 1, right in the front, and then what we should see is the light sort of slowly creeping around with each side. Position 4, position 4, 3, 4, 5 should be directly behind. So it looks like we are missing, there's position 6. Position 5, let's talk about that just for a moment, because position 5 should be the light directly behind the object. So you got position 1, and then position 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, where you're here and the light is coming directly from behind you. So this does not identify that. I can tell where the light's coming from. It's over on this side of the image. So you just misidentified that one. So that happens sometimes. Composition-wise, you know, we could be doing a little bit better here. We have this image and then this image. They're pretty much identical. As well as this image, they're pretty much identical. We want different compositions in each one. Now, in the next project, we will have experiments where we are just shooting the same exact composition, varying the light, but that wasn't the case here. So as you go, unless it's otherwise specified, we want these compositions to be changing with every new image that you choose. All right, let's look at intensity. Again, we got the same composition over and over. That is not what we're looking for. What we want is a variety of compositions. I'm sure you shot a variety of compositions within this study. What we wanted was varying compositions, and so you'll be looking to sort of swap some of these out in order to do that. Otherwise, it looks like we are getting good variation where you are switching things up. I'm not sure what we mean by 210. It should always be a 1, which means 1 meaning 1 part key light. The key light is always going to be 1. And then :3, the 3 represents how far away or how many fill lights it would take to equal the key. So in this case right here, what you're identifying, 1 to 3, you're saying you got the key light, that represents 1. And then because you've identified it as 3, then that would mean 3 fill lights to equal the 1 key light. Now, of course, you're not using 3 fill lights, but it's basically it's 1/3 of the intensity. Here, 210 doesn't make any sense. 2 key lights, that wouldn't make any sense. So that's obviously an error. 1 to 5, that's a pretty small little difference there. Where you can wind up with 1 to 5 if you did, but and perhaps it is there because you do have that variation. 6 to 2, again, doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't ever have 6 key lights to, only 2. Yeah, so that, yeah, I think you've got these numbers a little bit. I know you have these numbers a little bit mixed up here. We can run that down and fix that. This might be one of the components that you want to resubmit, because it looks like you don't fully understand what we were exactly doing here, and that's based on the postings, but also the repetition of the composition. 5 to 6 and 2 to 4. They look almost identical in the lighting, so it's just the incorrect numeration there, and that's fine. Again, same composition. We just have the wrong idea about the compositions. It's not the same composition over and over again. We got to have different compositions. However, it looks like you are moving, identifying the light, and you're identifying the camera setting. That's excellent. The composition itself is a good composition. We're just seeing it over and over again. We should see a variety of compositions. Otherwise, nicely done. Contrast once, now we're getting a few different variations here where you're starting to vary it. This is where we're using the reflector to bounce light back in there. That's much, much better that you're identifying and using that. Hardness. Hardness is where we're talking about the shadows, manipulating the shadows, either to have a soft edge shadow or a hard edge shadow. And the idea is to create both of them in the image because we have two lights. We're diffusing one of them, not diffusing the other. You should have a hard light and you should have a soft light, unless you've got both diffused and then you have two soft lights. That's all what the composition is really about. It looks like you've got that pretty well handled, but once again, you have the same compositions, which that's going to need to change. You're not going to want to have that kind of repetition moving forward. But that's actually not that difficult. I'm sure you shot a variety of compositions here. So let's take a look at what your peers say. I will imagine they'll have something to say about it's the same composition over and over. We would suggest changing up the compositions in the photos, yeah. So I would agree with them on that, changing the compositions of the photos. It looks like you're getting the general idea, except for that temperature. I'm sorry, except for intensity, which it looked like you're just sort of not sure how that worked. So we'll work on that with you. But otherwise, technique-wise, it looks like you're handling the camera just fine. It looks like you are able to use the controls just fine. The compositions you are producing are effective. They're just repetitive. You need to have those compositions mixed up there. So you'll also get a numeric grade from me. You'll be a breakdown of concept, composition, accuracy, craft, and so on. And to go along with this. And of course, you'll be open to resubmit so we can make some of those modifications that we are talking about that you'll want to modify. So, all right, well, that is the sort of brief rundown of what I am seeing in your imagery. And I look forward to seeing more of your photographs. We'll see you in the studio. Bye-bye.